A very warm welcome to all of our listeners today. We have a very special guest amongst us. Vikram Arumilli from IMAX is joining us all the way from New York. Vikram, pleasure having you here on the call today and speaking to the Vitrina Business Network.
Thanks, Atul. Thanks for having me.
Vikram is a senior vice president and general manager, streaming and consumer technology at IMAX. He's based out of New York. And Vikram, you've had some very exciting announcements in the last few days. Our network of 72,000 professionals within the entertainment supply chain is usually very interested in knowing about innovative solutions that typically are impacting any aspect of our industry, and getting more details about it. So hope to have a very interesting conversation about some of these interesting innovative products you've just rolled out.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Vikram, one of the places that we would love to sort of start off is if you can just describe your group and a little bit about what are the key focus areas that you have. That'd be great as a start.
Yeah, so I lead a business unit within IMAX called IMAX Streaming and Consumer Technology. So everyone knows IMAX for kind of our core business, which has been around now for 50 years plus. So that's the theatrical side of our business, where we have a presence in 80 plus countries. We have 1,700 or more IMAX theaters around the world. We highlight, or in our theaters, we show off the biggest and best Hollywood movies, the tentpole titles that come through from our studio partners. We do a lot of local language content in these theaters as well. But as we've thought about how we grow our business and how we expand what IMAX stands for, we've realized that we need to get closer to the consumer wherever they're watching content. And IMAX is known for delivering optimal quality, the most premium experience theatrically. And so the thesis behind why we started my group is how do we bring that quality, that exceptional premium experience that customers know IMAX for, closer to viewers in the home, on the go, wherever they're watching content. So that was kind of the fundamental impetus behind why we started this business group. It's been around for a few years now, and it was really bolstered in 2022 by an acquisition we did of a company called SSIMWAVE, and their streaming technology is kind of the backbone of what we offer today to our customers around the world.
Fascinating. And the 2022 acquisition, was that sparked off by a specific sort of market insight? Was it a post-COVID sort of a situation that you wanted to double down on? Has anything changed
Yes.
from that perspective?
Yeah, so I think we really used COVID as an opportunity. The theatrical business more generally really struggled throughout COVID, especially a lot of the exhibitors. But what really sets IMAX apart is we're not an exhibitor; we're a technology company. So we've always made our money off of licensing our hardware to theater owners, also our software technology, which we offer to studios to optimize their content for our screens, which is called DMR. So we were pretty asset light. So we were able to get through COVID in much better shape than many of the other companies in the theatrical world and in the studio world. And so we really used the period around COVID to figure out, well, how do we invest in the future? How do we sort of insulate ourselves from some of the headwinds that might be facing the theatrical industry? So that was when we really started doubling down on what was called then IMAX Enhanced. So that was an offering that we had to bring IMAX content into the home, to streaming services, and also there's a hardware element of that business where we license our brand to really high-end manufacturers, where we put the IMAX brand on TVs, sound bars, sound systems. As we thought about how we grow that business further, we really decided that there needed to be a stronger technological underpinning there rather than just working off of our brand. And that's what led us to the SSIMWAVE acquisition. We thought that the technology that the team built there was really stood out. It was unique. It had really a really strong moat around it in terms of being differentiated. And so that's what we've now embedded into our business and what we're trying to scale today.
Fascinating. And if you can maybe talk a little bit about the technology itself, what it facilitated, and then did the acquisition come with its own set of customers that you acquired? It would be great to sort of get a little bit of context on that.
Yes. So let me start a little bit with our streaming technology, which was the technology that we acquired from SSIMWAVE. So obviously today there's a lot of talk about AI and machine learning, and I feel like a lot of it is probably overhyped, but our technology truly is AI based. It is true AI that we're monetizing, so we're actually making money off of it. So what the SSIMWAVE team did, and this has been in the works now for almost 2 decades, is they mapped human vision to an algorithm. So they took um, tens of thousands of subjects, actually did a bunch of testing on content, and they were able to turn, as I said, human vision into an algorithm where we're now able to, in real time, score the quality of any piece of content scene by scene on a 0 to 100 scale. And so, what you can do with that is you can, one, in a very automated fashion, help streaming services, broadcasters, live TV providers understand what is the quality that they're delivering to the end consumer. And so that's one of our products. It's called Stream Aware. We do that for both on demand and live content. Um, what you can also do is when you're able to score content in real time and in a very accurate and fast way, is you're now also able to optimize quality. So what we've found through our technology is that when you minimize quality, when you bring quality down, you can bring quality down in imperceptible ways. So you can bring quality from a 90 score down to like an 89, 88. Humans don't actually perceive that difference. But when you bring down that quality, you actually reduce the amount of bits that have to be delivered to the end customer, which actually allows streaming services, broadcasters to optimize content delivery costs in a way that actually doesn't impact viewer quality. And in fact, actually increases the viewer experience because you have smaller files, less buffering, and overall more efficient streaming process. So you're making the streaming services, our customers, happier because they're saving money, they're able to build more efficient, more scalable business models by doing that. And you're also making the customer happy in the process because they're getting a more consistent quality experience. And that's our product that's called StreamSmart. And we're able to do that both for, we're able to optimize the quality both for on-demand content as well as on-air or live content. And that's been our most recent breakthrough, the ability to optimize live content, which we started doing late last year, and we've really been seeing more pickup this year. And then in terms of your other question of through the acquisition, did we bring any customers into the fold? We don't talk a lot about a lot of our customers, just given some of the restrictions they have. But one that we have spoken openly about is our partnership with Disney Plus. So Disney Plus is one of our bigger customers on the on-demand optimization side. Comcast is also a big customer of ours on the live monitoring side, so the live quality monitoring, the Stream Aware product. We monitor thousands of channels for them in real time constantly, and those have been two of our big customers who we're very proud to work with.
Fascinating. This is super exciting. Actually, both of these products, and also the pain point that you talked about of just less buffering and less bandwidth consumption. The one aspect was that does the solution require a specific set of enablers uh, local to a particular market, or can you actually sort of launch global services anywhere in any market?
Yeah, so no, we can work with customers globally. That's one of our big focuses this year as we're speaking is how do we take these technologies that have been primarily focused on the North American market to date, given kind of the size of our team and the opportunity in North America, we've really focused there first. But how do you bring this globally? So just last month, I was in India. Obviously, in India, there's a big push to bringing more live content to streaming services. India's really seen kind of in the US, just now you're starting to see professional sports content hitting streaming services, right? Just because of rights issues. You're seeing the NBA now making a big deal with Amazon, but up until now, it's been mostly broadcast focused. But India, with what we've seen with the IPL and other sports and what Geo is doing, especially to push the market forward, a lot of content is going kind of streaming first there. And so we feel like there's a big opportunity in markets like India in particular to utilize this optimization technology for live streaming content, just because one, more bandwidth constraints in that market, two, the volume of viewership, three, the volume of content that's hitting the market there. We'd love to bring this technology to other markets, and there isn't really any necessary reason why you can't we can't scale globally in addition to what we're doing in North America.
Fascinating. When you expand into these new markets, what's the target customer look like? Are these streaming players? Can they, do you require a partner network locally within those markets?
Yeah, so we have a couple of different ways that we go to market. The kind of the most prevalent one is we have a direct sales team. So we have a sales team that's in Europe that also focuses on Middle East and Asia, including India. We have a sales team in North America that's focusing on opportunities with customers here. In terms of but we also have certain partners that we're working with, channel partners, including in India, who we're trying to do some deals through. Given the vast footprint of potential customers globally, we do realize that not everyone can be accessed through our own direct sales team. In terms of like kind of the personas we go after, it's interesting because we have a story that has to be told to both the business side and also the engineering product side, right? So we do offer this optimization technology that really at the end of the day drives greater profitability for streaming services, greater cost savings. So there's a story that you have to tell to the CEO, the CFO to get them on board. And we find that to be oftentimes an easier story to pitch. But then there's also the CTO and the CPO who have to be, and the engineering teams who have to be bought in on our technology to ensure that we're being able to implement them in the right way. We like to think that our product is very light touch, so we can embed very easily into existing workflows, but there's still a process of convincing folks and showing them that. Our technology also works on top of existing tools like content-aware encoding. So if you're saving already 20-25% on bit rates with content-aware encoding, we can come in and buttress that with 15 to 25% more savings. So it's explaining that to the engineering product technology teams that also requires a little bit of effort on our part. So we're typically talking to different personas in parallel as we go through our sales process.
Fascinating, fascinating. Vikram, one aspect that would be great for a lot of our listeners to understand is a little bit. If we go a little bit to the IMAX company,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of very exciting announcements have come out in the last few days. There was an announcement that we picked up about Saudi Arabia. I think a few new sort of exhibitors went live with your theatrical product. I think the IMAX company also had great results in this last quarter.
Yep.
Just as you sort of talk about the company, where does your portfolio sort of sit in the overall product mix? What kind of divisions and what kind of sort of groups are there? If you can paint a little bit of a color into that, that'd be
Yeah.
really useful for our group.
Right, sure. So we've got, the core business at IMAX, and I don't really like using that word because it makes it seem like everything that's not theatrical is not core. But the core business that people like to think about is the theater network that I talked about previously. So
That's right.
1,700 plus screens around the world. We're in 80 plus countries. The key thing to point out is IMAX doesn't own any of these theaters. I think we own and operate one theater. So that hits on the point that I mentioned earlier, where we're pretty asset light. We license our technology, our projector technology, to these theater owners around the world. We take a percentage of box office from them for having our technology in their theaters. We also partner with studios around the world. So the biggest studios in North America, local language studios around the world, and we take a percentage of box office from them too for giving them the opportunity to present their content on our screens. And so the core business, this theatrical business, has actually been doing very well ever since we've come out of the pandemic. I think what we've seen is there's definitely a trend of movement towards premium content consumption. People are saying if they're going to go to the theaters to watch content, they want to do so in the best way possible. So it's not unheard of for us. We have less than 1% of the screens globally. When you think about every single movie theater around the world and the 1,700 screens we have, it makes up less than 1% of screens globally. But for certain movies, we'll be doing 20% of the box office. So IMAX clearly has a premium position and a differentiated position theatrically. And that's some of the news that you've seen recently, where we're expanding more internationally. You mentioned Saudi Arabia. We did a huge deal in China, which is our biggest market globally. we're, I think, open every few weeks. I see a new theater that we're opening in India, which is also another big growth market for us. Japan is a very big market for us that has a lot of potential. So the core business is doing very well. As I said previously, though, I think one of the great things about our CEO, Rich Gelfond, is he's an entrepreneur at heart. He bought IMAX in the mid 90s when it was a very small company. We were just in museums, science centers, doing the documentaries that IMAX was originally known for. And he's the one who invested in the business and grew it into this real Hollywood powerhouse. He doesn't want to rest on just having this big theater network. The push is always, how do we grow what IMAX stands for? How do we expand the IMAX story from just being this great purveyor of theatrical content into being a purveyor of great content wherever people are watching content. So providing that experience that's premium, that's differentiated, whether it's in our theaters, whether you're watching in the home, whether you're watching on a personal device like a tablet or a mobile phone. We want IMAX to be synonymous with premium and quality anywhere and everywhere. So my business is the streaming consumer technology business. While we have a lot of connections to what we do on the theatrical side, similar partners, similar content that we're trying to optimize, we're just doing it for a different platform.
These two are the core sort of offerings to the market. Are there any other groups that are sort of on the product and sales side?
Yeah, so I think those are the two core, two key parts of the business. There's the theatrical part of the business, and then the streaming and consumer tech part of the business. Within the theatrical business, we have been dabbling in some new forms of content. So instead of just relying on theatrical content, pre-recorded content, we have looked into live experiences in our theater. So streaming live events into IMAX theaters globally. So we have today about 250 of our theaters are connected. So that allows us to deliver live events there. We've done music concerts, we've done live sports, we've done red carpet or premiere events in our theaters before a movie is screened. That's something we also see as an opportunity for the future, because instead of just relying on the typical Hollywood slate or local language slate, how do you drive increased utilization through novel experiences? So most recently, just last week, we did the Olympics opening ceremony in a bunch of our North America theaters. A few weeks before that, we did the NBA Finals live in China, utilizing, and that was especially unique because we utilized our StreamSmart technology for live content for those theaters to ensure that we were able to stream content in there in a very high quality way, despite the bandwidth constraints that you see in those theaters. So yeah, we are dabbling even within kind of the existing core business in new ways of unlocking excitement for fans, new ways of unlocking monetization for our business.
Fantastic. No, that was a great overview. Thanks for that, Vikram. Super useful. Coming back to StreamSmart, who are the end sort of customers from your perspective? Is it the streamers? Could it be TV networks as well who are now going into streaming? And what kind of size and maturity levels do you require for these companies to really embrace StreamSmart?
Yeah, so the end customers, yeah. So for the StreamSmart on demand, for example, as I mentioned, Disney Plus is one of our biggest customers there. So you think about anyone who's delivering on demand streaming content to consumers, they could be a customer of ours. So and it doesn't just necessarily need to be just kind of the subscribe and so the services that are just based off of subscription. So you could also look at PVOD players, people who are providing premium video that you could rent or buy. We have a pretty broad, our product can fit pretty broadly across that segment of customers. When you think about the StreamSmart on-air product, yeah, it's similar. Like a lot of the on-demand streaming services, live is now a huge component of their strategy. So you're selling to similar folks, maybe slightly different teams within the same streaming service, but it's the same kind of Disney, Netflix, Prime Video. Those are the sorts of customers we're going after. I mentioned Geo in India. So the biggest services with the biggest footprints, those are obviously the big companies that we want to target and partner with globally. Then when you think about our on-air technology, it's also opened up an opportunity to work with broadcasters. So if you think about what Comcast does, we're working with them today on the quality monitoring side. We can now move into potentially the optimization side because everyone is now delivering content through broadband, and it's there's a chance for us to optimize that delivery. So we have a pretty broad set of customers that we can go after, and so the TAM is quite large. It's for us. It's like, how do you prioritize who are the biggest players, who can most benefit from what our technology is offering, who's under kind of that biggest pressure to optimize cost, optimize quality. Then that's how we've been trying to figure out how we go after and build our sales pipeline.
Fascinating. And can you talk a little bit about the scale of some of these operations, what they should be, or is that not a constraint at all?
Yeah, I'd say like if you, in terms of scale of operations, we can sell to anyone, and no matter how many subscribers you have. The bigger thing is where you see the biggest impact is for people who are delivering the most content to the biggest base of subscribers or viewers, right? So and for us also to prioritize as a team who we go after, who we talk to, we're really looking at kind of the level of subscription, the number of subscribers, how many viewers are watching. If, for example, for Stream Smart On Air, how many viewers are watching a piece of a sporting event or some event that's being shown live at any given moment. That's where we see the biggest opportunity, because ultimately the optimization, the efficiency gains go up as you're delivering content to more viewers, more subscribers. So I would say that even for us, yeah, we can deliver savings to a very tiny streaming service, but it makes the most sense for us to go after those biggest, the biggest companies, just from a use of time standpoint.
Understood, understood. And one aspect I was curious about was just in terms of the optimization and savings. In some of the case studies that you've studied, what are the key metrics and improvements that you see in those operations?
Yeah, great question. So typically, we're seeing when we are both for the on-demand optimization tool and the live optimization tool, we see about 20 to 25% savings that we're able to deliver.
Whoa.
So and that's again, that's without reducing quality in any noticeable way. So it is a pretty significant savings when you think about some of these streaming services are probably spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year on CDN costs. That level of savings is very significant. And so that's why we've seen such great traction, such great interest in what we're offering, because historically, the way you drive those kinds of savings is you really compress files, you lose quality, you drive a lot of customer complaints when you do that. But we're kind of able to offer the best of both worlds. You can optimize, reduce that CDN spend without actually leading to any impact on customer experience. And in fact, as I said, it oftentimes boosts the customer experience, because if you have less buffering, more efficient stream, you're going to get fewer complaints and more satisfaction from customers, because they get that consistent quality that they expect.
That is big. Actually, 20 to 25%, especially for some of the largest streaming companies, would be a massive saving.
Yeah, and that's on top of, again, just to reiterate what I said before, that's on top of whatever optimization or reduction you're getting from your content aware encoding, which is a big strategy for most folks on the on-demand side. So we sit on top of those workflows and we drive incremental savings. So it really is a great value proposition. And one of the things we talk about really in our sales pitches with customers is there is a real clear ROI here that we can show to you right off the bat. And so it's not like you have to implement us for months or years to really see a return on your investment. It's kind of right away, so that is beneficial for them.
This is great news. As part of our business network, we have a lot of CFOs and CTOs as part of our network. I'm sure that they would be actually sort of very pleased to sort of hear about this. And my hunch is that you would get some inbound from those folks. Just in terms of inbounds, what kind of folks are you looking to hearing from? Any specific very desirable markets?
Yeah, so I'd say, to be very frank, the bulk of our customers are in North America today. We are looking to expand internationally. So Europe is obviously a big market that has a ton of potential. So we have a team of a few guys who we've recently brought on in London who are focusing not just on the European market, but also the APAC market, as I mentioned. I think India, for me, just from a personal standpoint and from the way you see that market growing, is, I think, a huge opportunity, just given the way that how fast the market is growing, not just from a subscriber standpoint, but from the types of content that are hitting streaming. As I said, you look at some of these IPL matches and you see tens of millions of concurrent viewers. There's a huge opportunity there to optimize and ensure that quality is being delivered in the best way. So whether it's IPL or other live events in India, I think that's a huge opportunity for us. We also do think there's opportunities in places like LATAM where we really haven't tapped into. Kind of some parallels to the Indian market. So yeah, there's a lot for us to go after. One of the big things I've been focusing on is how do you prioritize this for the team? How do you give the right level of direction so that we don't stretch ourselves too thin, and we're also able to bring in the right impact for our business internally?
Understood. Understood. You know what? Since you mentioned about India, one personal experience that I had recently was that in my last trip to India, I happened to watch Dune 2 in an IMAX facility, which was owned by Reliance Jio,
Yeah.
and in Mumbai, and
Okay.
the experience was absolutely smashing.
Yeah.
So again, I can exactly, and by the way, again, it was a packed house. So I know exactly what you mean when you say just in terms of numbers and in terms of all the way the infrastructure is really coming up. Just sounds super exciting as a
Yeah,
market.
so I mean that sort of hits on what we're trying to do. Is like when you go, and I saw Dune 2 here in New York in Lincoln Square, which is one of our flagship IMAX theaters around the world. You see that in an IMAX screen, and you're just wowed by the experience, right? It's really immersive. The visual quality is amazing. It's kind of the peak of theatrical movie going. But what happens is when you bring Dune 2 into the home to watch it on your TV or mobile phone, that the quality can be so inconsistent, right? There's so many variances that can come into play. Our
That's
goal
right.
is how do you figure out a way to bring that premium quality into the home so that the creator's intent, that awe-inspiring experience, we know that you're never going to be able to fully replicate it in the home, but there's ways you can use our technology to ensure that quality remains consistent while also delivering great savings to the streaming service. So that kind of link between the theater and the home is what we're trying to build with our technology.
Fascinating, fascinating. I totally second that. A couple of last questions actually, Vikram, are really about competition as well as outlook for the rest of the year. From a competition perspective, when as you go into some of these new streaming arrangements for your product and portfolio, are you replacing anything that they were already using, or is it usually that you're sort of bringing the first big optimization to the CDN sort of cost equation?
Yeah, so we don't. I think one of the things that helps us stand out is we're not really replacing anything in the existing workflow. We sit on top of the workflow. So we optimize the encoding process. So it's not like we're ripping out your encoder and putting in a new encoder. And so that's what makes it a little bit more plug and play, easier to embed into existing workflows. And so the goal here is not to every streaming service, that we work with, they have tons of pressure on them. They're constantly uploading new content. There's constantly work going on to keep the service up and running. So our goal is not to come in and tear stuff apart and have a huge lift to put us in. So yeah, the goal is get in this most seamless way and ensure that you're able to deliver those savings and that efficiency as quickly as we can to keep the engineering and product teams happy and also keep customers happy at the end of the day.
Nice, nice. No, look, again, great to know. Again, as your voice travels through our network to other streaming companies, I'm sure this was one of the questions that they were thinking about. And then the last question really was relating to the outlook for the year. What are the big things that are planned? Are there any new enhancements that are being rolled out from a product perspective? That it would be great to understand some of those aspects.
Yeah, sure. So I think the big focus for us is, as I've mentioned, there's a huge opportunity with our target customers globally with the existing products that we have, the four products that we have. I mentioned Stream Smart on air and on demand, and the Stream Aware, the quality monitoring for on air and on demand content. So the simplest, most straightforward thing that I want the team to focus on and that I'm focusing on is how do we expand our business, sell more of those four products, do so on a global scale beyond just North America. Beyond that, we are trying different things to build more opportunities, to build more optionality for our business in the future. So I mentioned what we did with the NBA in China, utilizing our technology to deliver a really premium live stream of the NBA finals in our theater. So we'll look at other opportunities to do that at our global network with live content. It's a way we can bring our technology closer to what we do in IMAX theaters. And so we're talking to a handful of different sports leagues globally about whether there can be opportunities to show more sports content in our theaters live. We've also, part of my team has, a small team within my team has built an IMAX app for Apple Vision Pro, because we do think that, as I said, we want to be the mark of premium quality wherever people are watching content. We do think that's a very interesting platform for content consumption in the future. And we've seen some great reaction, great traction with that app. So what can we do to bring what IMAX is known for to new experiences wherever people are watching content? So, is it Vision Pro? Is it other AR, VR devices? Is it in-car entertainment? That's something we've talked about internally. How do you, as you think about driverless cars, what's happening with Waymo, as that stuff expands, you're going to have people with more chances to consume content in different arenas. And how does IMAX make its mark in those different platforms? So that's all kind of stuff we're thinking about for this year and beyond. And I'm sure there'll be more exciting things for us to share in the very near future about all that.
That certainly sounds exciting, especially the Vision Pro part that you talked about. I would love to actually take a demo the next time I'm in New York.
Yeah,
Soon,
please stop by. We'll get you set up with a device, and you can see what we have on there. We just yesterday, through a partnership with the BBC, launched Planet Earth 3 on our Vision Pro app, so you can get 8 episodes of Planet Earth 3, which is an incredible experience when you're just watching on a regular TV. But imagine it in an IMAX screen, full size, in a VR device. It's pretty immersive and very impressive. So yeah, please do stop by and we'll.
fascinating.
Yeah,
This is exciting. Vikram, I really want to thank you on behalf of everybody at Vitrina and the Vitrina Business Network for talking to us. This was very exciting, and I wish you all the very best for the rest of the year.
great. Thank you, Atul. Really happy to join you.
Thank you.